All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right. France getting pounded here. Storms and waves and all kinds of great stuff. All right. Let's get on over to our solar report. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out of your precious day to come to our precious family here and get enlightened. All right. Gee, wonder what's going on here. You can see the little object really dark in there. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the bow shock, the teardrop effect. We also have this one sneaking through on the side over here. Everybody looking at this, and this thing over here sneaks through too. So a slow, long duration, and then another one sneaking through there. We'll just let that play for a second. Oh, that's playing, and everybody's gathering and getting all the refreshments, getting ready to curl up with me for a little while. Here we are, February 24th, 2024, a 24. Man, are we getting close. Okay. I'm sorry. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a little slow tonight. A long day of running errands and all sorts of great stuff. All right, so let's just get into it here. What I'm going to do is pause it on the frame, right around the frame we're looking for here. Okay, right here you can see our object coming out. It's very faint, but you see the dent it puts in the instrumentation right there? Okay, there you see now that the red line's kind of passed by it. Now you can see our little black object right there, still wrapped in plasma. Looks like there might be something else going on in there because I see some crisscrossing of magnetic field lines right here. So something else is probably a secondary one. Meanwhile, we got this one over here, and also it shows up pretty well on the red side here. Okay, and well, that's a pretty good shot right there. Let me just zoom in a little bit on both sides. Okay, here you can see our little object centralized right here, wrapped in plasma. It's faint, but you can see, and it's made a bulge here in the readings. All right, so you can see it there, and then see our darker center right here with plasma all around it, with the plasma streaming back in like that teardrop shape right there. Okay, so now we back out. Whoops. Okay, now you can see it on both sides there. Let me get to the button again here just a little bit better. And let me tilt it more this way, slide it more that way, and back up a little bit, and redo it. So there's really no hiding what's going on there. Meanwhile, you can see the secondary one right here. Let's zoom in on it too. Note the white little V-shaped bow shock that's coming off of it, off the top and off the bottom, pointing back right here. I want to get it in even tighter here because it didn't look like it showed up on the camera. There it is. All right. Pretty hard to deny what's going on there. Unless you live in denial. All right, well, there's another object, V-shaped bow shock coming off the backside of it. The secondary one, there was already one out in front of it. Looks like there's a little faint something going on here as well. But this one being the primary one with a magnetic field latching onto plasma and stripping it off the sun as it maneuvers and passes by the sun, rebounds off of it. I think the gravitational pull of the sun pulls them in, and then they hit a magnetic boundary field line, like almost like a bubble, like a torus field that comes out in loops, and each loop gets bigger and bigger, right, as it goes out further and further. Well, there's probably a loop, a certain boundary where these react magnetically and get shunted off the sun. They repel like magnets at the very last. They get drawn in, and then they all of a sudden they can't touch, so they repel and come out at a different angle, taking plasma with them. The sunspots usually, and these little needle-like spires here are usually kind of indicators of where our object is. Okay, Brian, can you curl up with me? I'm cozy. Yes, Cindy, I would love to curl up with you. And one of these nights, we actually will. Okay? A nice, warm, safe, comfortable embrace from a friend, somebody you can trust, not some creep that you're wondering, oh, is he kind of getting my panties or what? Different kind of guy. Sorry, it's called valor. In fact, tonight we'll get into that. I might just do my testimony. I saw somebody else do theirs, and it was quite stirring and moving and reminded me of my own. And I thought, well, how special would that be to treat you guys to my experience, strength, and hope. We'll get there, though. Meanwhile, let's wrap this up. You see this one moving out. We got this one over here, secondary one, this long duration, slow developing CME. Now look at right here. This image is pretty cool. All right. Okay, NASA. Tell me, I want to hear your explanation. What's this? This big old U-shaped thing of plasma in front of a black spheroid object with the instrumentation indicating that there's something going on there. Look how far out it is away from the occulter. Still has this glowing little dam of plasma built up on the front of it that it latched onto and, held onto it and is leaving the vicinity with it. All right, the rest of this is so dark, you can make out the little ball right in the front, though. So, let me back out just a tad bit more. My bad. My good. I know some people don't like that term. I don't either, but I have kids that use it all the time, and boy, does the terminology rub off. All right, you can even see over on this side, this round, bubble-shaped, teardrop type effect with the plasma. All right, and that was the closing frame right there, 2348. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this back into motion. Now, everything that we just discussed, take a little peek one more time as it's moving. These long, I'll leave it at this speed for a second so you can see the one on the left side over here. And then, all right, you see that one pretty clearly. Now we're going to speed it up. These slow, long duration ones, when you speed them up back to normal speed, then you can kind of see the activity a little clearer. Actually, that was a little too fast. Right there, I think. All right, and it's pretty undeniable there. All right, so there's your activity going on. Remember we were talking about the spires over here. Look how this one intensifies as the object approaches. Then when it has its exchange, and then as it moves out, it dissipates and disappears. That spire grew out of nowhere, got intense, object moved through, objects moved, did their interaction. Once they, what's the term I'm looking for? Exit the area, exit the field or whatever. On their way out, they latch onto the plasma and take it with them, and There's a perfect example of it right there. Note we got these other spires still out here growing. That means there's something else coming. And a lot of times these things will come out of a dark region as well. There won't be a spire. It'll just come out of a dark region, and then see how that one did, kind of? See how there was no spire really growing there, but there's that dark patch, and then it blows right through that dark patch. So we have different kinds of indicators that are kind of, well, they're indicators because they're reactionary from the sun when another magnetic field approaches. Okay. And there's your object going by. Some are really small and have a strong magnetic field, and it takes them a long time to, exchange with the sun. Other ones are bigger and they don't have such a strong magnetic field. They zip past a little bit faster. We got all kinds of different kinds of activity here that I can explain quite well. All that we do here explains these quite well. I've yet to see anybody else try to address this issue, especially NASA or any of the scientists. They still live in denial. Well, when this solar system and these objects become visible in your skies, like the two suns, like all kinds of effects that are being seen now, real ones, not lens flares anymore. Okay? Those days of faking stuff are over. The stuff you're going to start capturing now is going to be real, and it's going to be real hard to explain. Except over here at this channel where I try to address it bluntly with the truth. All right, so there's your activity for today, the 24th. Let's come on over to the solar ham. Frying some bacon over here. All right, let me zoom in on today's activity. Note our missing flare still. It's not on the charts. It would have been going off the chart right here anyway, but it's still sitting there, X6.3. They never put that spike back on the chart. Anyways, here's today's activity, this square right here. And you can see we've had a couple of those strong spikes. Here's that long duration one, all right? Here's the other one that we saw. So we had a few little bumps. And then as we're coming out of it, you see it's kind of smoothed out. We had a little bump right there. Would you guys like to go take a look at it? No? Well, we're going to do it anyways, if it's there. I did not get prepared for this yet, so we're going to say a prayer. We're going to refresh, and ta-da, there we go. There's a few frames starting on February 25th, sorry. I'm ready for July, that's for sure. All right, and what do we got here but the tail end of an event? All right, right here. Wow, look at this image just captured right here. Last frame just got lucky right there. Nothing to see here. Only just a black spheroid with plasma latched onto on the tail of it. See it dragging the plasma out with it? It's got some built up in front of it there. Wish we had the frames leading up to that. All right, but that's one of 29 already going into the 25th. Kind of glad we came over here and checked that out, aren't you? Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah, groovy. I haven't heard that term in a while. I saw it today and I was like, oh, sometimes things are groovy still. All right. Let's move on. It looks there's maybe a secondary, little smaller one chasing. They always kind of seem to latch on and come out at the end and like catch up to it. In fact, we gotta get this one too. Because it's just so crystal clear right there. Whoops, right there. Perfectly round black spheroid. Plasma latching onto it, stretching out. Same effect. You can see there was a bigger one, the bigger teardrop effect here. So out in front of this was a bigger object. These are little moons probably trailing along with it. Hope you guys been paying attention to Mike from COT. Been trying to tell you there's a new solar system in the neighborhood, and you're about to start seeing it. Anyways, here's your chart for the activity for today. Still kind of disappointed. They really should have put that spike back on there to at least save face, regain trust. I don't know, probably told by other higher ups to take it down. Nothing they could do, probably. Anyways, 30% X flare still because we got AR 3590, and boy, is it a mess. It is a hot mess. Let me zoom back out. Sorry, I have to take a sip. My medication makes my mouth dry. All right, so far, since our X flare, we had the 2.6, the M4.5, M2.2, and an M3.6. That being the 3.6. I think this will probably be the 4.5. All right, so there's your activity there for today. This region, 3590, beta, gamma, delta. It's the worst configuration. I got a great shot of it for you guys. Maybe you've seen it already. We'll get there. KP index, notice a little increase in it. We're getting hit with some kind of plasma from the sun. Something's heading our way. In fact, you see this little yellow streak right here in the middle of the auroras. Trying to get it. It seems my camera might blind this, or this might blind my camera. Let's open it up a little bit. You can see we have a little yellow streak here in the southern one, as well in the northern. It's yellow is, mild right here in the middle. So we're having a little mild absorption right now. A geomagnetic here from plasma off the sun. Probably solar wind. Well, let's read this real quick. Below is an updated look at the visible solar disk, courtesy of the Solar Dynamics. The solar activity since the X flare. That's the same article. That's not the image I want to show you, but before we leave here, let's open up the tracker. Still tracking this big filament eruption, all right, that's due to hit 25th, all right? They're calling for more towards the tail end. Well, maybe just a little bit after midday. Let's just open up this one so you can see your spike and everything and get a good idea of what time they're estimating this arrival. All right, and this will add more energy, more absorption down to the core. All right, sometimes it doesn't matter the direction, the strength. It matters the absorption that we take. If our magnetic field was strong that day and we were able to, push off a glancing blow, or if we absorbed a lot and took, a lot of energy and, recharging the core, outer core system or dynamo. Anyways, midday, a little bit after midday, 25th, 26th, right there. Not too much, but expecting some kind of little arrival. Okay. Thankfully, it's not a big old X flare to the face. All right. We're done here. We're done, son. All right. Let's get on over here to the other report. Oh, I didn't get my glasses. Dang it. My eyes been struggling. I got really sensitive eyes, and going out in the daylight, I have to have polarized lenses. I was out in the sun today. My eyes feel torched, even with wearing my sunglasses. Anyways, the cell network outage explained. Everybody, so what? It's already over. I'll let you be the judge, and you're all intelligent people. I see people still backing. Oh, it was the company that they admitted to it. Well, there's a tactic. If you get caught doing a worse crime, if you plead guilty to something else, sometimes they just give you a ticket for that, right? So, anyways, just saying, I'll let you guys be the judge of this, but kind of different how this outage happened and the way these sunspots work. All right, now here at 3590, I want you to take a look at the magnetic setup. We have positive, negative here. We have a positive, negative here. We have a positive, negative there, and another positive right here. This is the scariest configuration I've seen in a long time. All right, when a positive, negative interfere with each other, that's where we get a spark, right? A spark from this could make a spark jump here and a spark jump there. We could have a combined event of 3 different arcs if it went off properly. This is so dangerous. If you asked an electrician, if you had a bunch of hot wires that were positive, negative, sitting this close to each other, all it takes is one little tiny intersection, and one spark could cause the others to too, in a way that would be much bigger than just one sunspot. Imagine this whole complex firing one big wallop. Okay, it is possible. We'll pray that it doesn't happen. I don't want to see that happen, right? None of us want to see that happen. Well, actually, we'll get to that part in the spiritual report. But for your common person, they don't want to see this happening, all right? This is a very, very dangerous time for this sunspot. It's right facing Earth right now, okay? So it's very dangerous. What makes this sunspot so dangerous? Don't be surprised if there's another X flare this weekend. Giant sunspot AR 3590 is directly facing Earth and has an unstable magnetic field that harbors energy for the strongest explosions. This magnetic map from NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory shows what makes it so dangerous. These groupings, usually there's just one. There's one positive, negative, and there might be a stray positive or a stray negative. Very rarely do we see one configuration with another configuration with a third one just lined up like a dragon, kind of. All right. Most sunspots have a simple magnetic field with only 2 poles, positive and negative. Sunspot AR 3590 is more like a layer cake with a whole stack of pluses and minuses. Opposite magnetic polarities pressed together in this way can lead to explosive magnetic reconnection. And that's what I'm talking about. These guys connect could cause these two to connect as well. The whole thing could connect from positive to negative, and a huge arc could come off of that. If we saw, these two crackled and connected, and then you had one big pop from negative to positive all the way across. Anyways, that's a magnetic reconnection. The mechanism behind solar flares. Indeed, only 2 days ago, 3590 unleashed the strongest solar flare of solar cycle 25, came out of this bad boy. And now it's lining up. It looks like it's getting ready to take a shot at us, you guys. This is this very concerning configuration. I'm not trying to fearmonger here. It's time to wake up and smell the pavement. We have a very, very dangerous situation here. If we don't have calm, cool heads prevail, and if something were to pop off stupid, I wouldn't be surprised to see a reaction in the spiritual realm and this thing react. You guys are treading on such thin ice. There's a big, huge warning spot just staring right at you, a big eye going, go ahead, make a move. See what happens. Most sunspots, all right, we already got there. So everybody be aware. Something goes, your power goes out all of a suddenly. They might blame it on something else, but it could possibly be X something coming off of there. I don't want to say any numbers because I don't want to scare anybody, but it's time to what if? I mean, it's not far fetched. It's right in your face. So everybody just tread lightly, pray for each other. NOAA forecasters say there is a 30% chance of another X flare this weekend. If it happens, the flare will be geo-effective because the sunspot is directly facing Earth. Okay, we all understand that here. Very, very dangerous time. Okay. And we already seen the side effects of the X6, right? Well, depending on how you see things. Anyways, look at this. Nice and kind of steady and quiet. It got a little weak right in here. The other Schumann that MBB uses, I was looking at that one as well, and it has some spikes on it, but it's basically these grinding sessions right here. And what that doesn't show is the 7.83. So I look at it every once in a while for spikes, but this is what I'm mainly concerned about is the strength of our 7.83 here. And I'm going to have to, oh wait, we can't zoom. Let me do a little scooching here. I just want you guys to see up close a little bit here. Yeah. What this little week session we had right there. Just trying to get the wavy lines out. Getting right in here, and you see this white pulse right there. So it was struggling, kind of got weak, came back with a and screeching again. Now it's kind of coming out of it a little bit. Nothing too intense, but that tells me that pressure is right there, right at the edge right here, where any more absorption is just going to start grinding and then slow down, get these weak events here where, the magnetic field is not totally down, okay, but it's just really weak. All right, and this affects people, affects animals. Oh boy, does it affect people in ways they don't even know. Most people experience pain. Some people experience energy, others depression. But there's some other side effects that are happening when this happens that you're not aware of. Weak magnetic field allows other entities easier access, if you know what I mean. Magnetic field protects us from that as well. So, anyways, you can see we had a weak part, little pulse right here that went all the way down, two quick little lines, and then back to a small little grinding event, nothing too bad, and we're currently going through that. So, moving on now, back to position 2, or position 1. All right, so our current earthquake report right now. Whoa, what you doing? There we go. Okay, our region where we usually start, let's go over here. I don't think this will be it. No, 4.7 down at 56. Doesn't seem to be a deep quake. This is over in the plate boundary. 5.0 down at 59. So there's still roughly 5 energy by the surface. Right there, right here. Jumps over this. What do we got here? On land now, another 5. Okay, so we have that 5 energy cruising through the area. It's releasing at these weak spots. Here's 4.3 down at 317, though, in this little pocket area. 4.6 down at 271. Again, that deeper pocket area. Those relate to, tad bit stronger if they were at the surface. 4.9 here down at 85. What do we do with 0.9s here? Another 5. Coming up to this part, 4.3 down at 38. Now, what happened here off of Japan? 5.1. Same 5 energy cruising up through here. This time right off the coast here by this plate boundary by Honshu or Fukushima here. So thank God it was only a 5.1. So our energy, we're starting to see some decent quakes, mid up to 5s, mid-range 4 to 5. So the magnetic grip type effect seems to be over, and our earthquake activity is kind of back to normal here. There's a 3.3 in Texas. We all know what's going on there. 5.3 down here on the Cocos plate. Okay, 5.3 now. I'm starting to, nothing too much bigger than that over here at this little plate. But that's good. It relieves some energy. The 5 energy. Right here we have a red one. In the red is a 4.7 down at 22. Right next to it earlier today was a 4.6 down at 10. Just a little south of that, closer to our fulcrum point, is your 4.6 down at 88. And then this cluster, see our fulcrum point right here? Well, we got pressure on both sides instead. So 4.5, 4.3, that one's down 238. 4.5, 197. So a little bit deeper activity because it's on land right here. But your 5 energy moving through the area, releasing at your release points and stuff. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, now I want to come over. Note this area is all nice and quiet right here through Java. Probably volcanic blasts going off. Well, we know there are probably volcanic blasts going off through there today. Nothing at the fulcrum point, but look up here at China. This region up here again, a 5.4. Seems to me that looked a little bigger earlier. Oh, maybe not. Anyways, activity picking up in China. They will see some activity, legendary activity coming soon with all the pressure that's built up. Remember, we look at that. Here's a small one over here in Greece, 4.2. Good. We're seeing some releases over here because energy building up in this region. We don't want to see one big, magnificent, just huge eruption that would annihilate that whole region. The shock wave that come off and cause a wave in the Mediterranean. Imagine big waves propagating out of this thing in all directions. It would ruin every coastline around there. Oh, wow, what's this? Oh, that's the one in Greece? Oh, it's in these straits here, huh? Is there a seamount? No, I don't. Just kind of looking at the texture of the ocean floor to see if there's any kind of seamount or, type of effect that might be causing that. So, in between the plate, it's off the plate boundary. It's over here in the thicker part. So, like a mid-plate quake here. Underwater, we got, oh boy. Not going to talk about that. All right, up here at Iceland, still they're not reporting any activity here. Let's just put it on all things. So nothing there. Just small quake activity, little flurries. I'm just looking in case there's a quake swarm anywhere going on right here. Juan de Fuca, our junction point right here, fulcrum point. Had a 2.2 just now down at 222 or at 22.2. A 2.2 at 22.2, and on 222 we had the 3X flares. Oh yeah, hints, clues, miracles, all 3 at the same time. When you view them from that perspective, you can see the picture quite clear. Ooh, what's this? Okay, this is a different little region right here. This is the geysers area on the other side of the, what is that, Clear Lake right there? is another little quake up there. And then down here as well, 2.1. These aren't big quakes, but they're in a different region. They're not along the plate boundary. They're a little further in on probably a little fracture zone in there. There's faults that run tandem or parallel to the main fault. So, little activity down there, nothing too much. All right, cool. I think we're done here. I just want to check Hawaii real quick, make sure there wasn't a huge quake swarm. Nothing too big, mainly just a bunch of twos around here. Yeah. Okay, nothing going currently. This one right here at the top of the volcano. Well, 1.9, another 2. Okay, so there's your earthquake report for right now. Probably going to just see this similar activity. When we get this inbound wave that's due to hit tomorrow, midday tomorrow, a little bit after midday tomorrow, it'll take another day to kind of transpose down to the core to react, swell, heat. It won't be all that much, so I don't expect to see much of a burp or swelling effect from it. So our quakes are probably just going to stay at this kind of pace, magnitude. You see the equal distance spacing a little bit like this, relieving pressure, little equal distances kind of. We'll probably see a little bit more of that kind of activity. I mean, it's hard to tell. Things change so fast. All right, let's get rid of some of these. We can get rid of that one, get rid of that one. I'm getting used to closing these out before I try to open the volcano page because all right, Lord, please let it work. Yes. I think it's working better when I just do that. Okay, here we go. 225. All right, already stepping into the future, into tomorrow. Santa Guido, Fuego, Popo, Semeru, Ducono, Marapi, Luatolo, Nevada del Ruiz. All the regular players are out on the field. Okay, now here we go. Suwanosejima. I don't really give an altitude on that one very often. Luatolo now, Lesser Sunda Islands, 8,000 foot. Semeru on Java, 14,000. So Semeru is still pushing above 10,000. Okay, 14,000 out of it. Marapi, 12,000. Ducono, 8,000. It's like the lowest one on the list is 8,000. So that's still a decent blast. Imagine if the mountain next to your house or out in the distance, the nearest mountain to you just blew up 8,000 feet into the air. You would go, oh my God. Here, it's just a mouse fart. It's only 8,000 feet out of Ducono every day. Same with Popocatépetl, 17,000. Santa Guido, 13,000. Fuego, 15,000. Nevada del Ruiz, 22,000 feet. That's twice the 10,000. That's more than twice a 10,000 foot blast. We're getting up there. That's a lot of pressure pumping these things that high. It also is a lot of pressure being relieved. Okay, now are we really gonna... Yes, here we go. Oh, we're having so much better luck. Thank you, Lord. All right, here we go. Recahenus, given the impending eruption within the next few days, Icelandic office. Oh my goodness. Oh. Published most likely scenarios. Yay. Recent models, calculations, blah, 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 blah. All right, so everybody getting ready to see something happen at Iceland, either Reykjanes or there's a couple other places, where an event could open up. Here's Manam again, still having their little degassing event. Sundhukarhu crater. Oh my goodness, I can't even pronounce that at this level. Sakurajima, finally. 5,000. Oh, no, that's a different one. 5,000 feet there. Suwanoshijima. Why do they never show it? Well, maybe they just don't have instrumentation. Manam here, still going off. Luatobi. Okay, Luatolo, 8,000 feet. Semaru, 14,000 feet again. So it's constantly blasting day after day, 14,000 feet. Imagine if the mountain next to you blew up to 14,000 feet, scared the crap out of everyone, and then did it the next day, and the next day, and the day after that, it went up even taller, and then the next day, maybe a little bit lower, but then kept doing it the next day. That's what it's like to live next to these volcanoes right now. This stuff is going on daily. Popocatépetl, 22,000 feet. Santa Guido, 13,000 feet. These all just sound like names and numbers, but when you wrap your head around it, we got some serious volcanic activity going on. Fuego, 15,000 feet. Nevada del Ruiz, 19. Reventador, 14. There are more that are over 10,000 feet than there are ones that are under. Okay. And no list today, but any of these volcanoes could possibly go active. When we see this new round of pressure come in, it probably won't change these too much. I expect to maybe see a jump in some of these ones. Like this one that gets up to 19, it could go to 22. Some of these ones that are at 15 could go to 18. We'll see. Another couple thousand feet higher, but shouldn't be like a big surge of energy causing a big time earthquake quite yet. We seem to have small little, can you see these red ones or not? All right, little activity constantly going off in the small range is relieving pressure. It's like a slow leak on your tire. It's relieving pressure and saving us from any kind of buildup and a big break. Okay, we did activity, we did volcanoes. Let's get over to our forecast. Play this real quick. Note any changes. Well, once it reloads, let's get the camera tilted just a tad bit better. There we go. Yeah, some changes there. Hard to keep up with this thing. Oh my God, look at that. Okay, where the hell did that come from? I mean, it wasn't just quite like that yesterday. All right, current conditions, nighttime in February 24, going into the morning of the 25th, noontime. You note this storm coming up to Puget Sound, already hitting by the noontime tomorrow. That'll be the end of convection, and the nighttime of the 25th going in morning of the 26th. Noontime. See how this is encroaching and this is coming together? That's noontime, convection, nighttime. They collide. Boom, right there. That'll be the nighttime of the 26th, morning of the 27th. Noon, convection, nighttime. This thing changed a lot. Almost kind of for the better. There's still this ribbon icing event, but it's kind of USA kind of dodged that bullet right there. That'll be the morning of the 28th right there. We also have this coming on shore. Severe weather possible up in the Puget Sound. That'll be the noontime of the 28th there. Convection. So at the end of convection here, these two air masses, really cold and really moist. These little pop-ups going in here. But it doesn't have that linear yellow line going through the middle, which is a lot better. I would rather see something kind of like this than a quasi-linear storm front. All right. It moves out of there by the morning of the 20th. That's the morning of the 29th. Still activity up in the, main area. as we have another severe storm coming on shore here. So at the end of convection going into the nighttime of the 28th, it starts to come on shore and get serious. Then it blossoms the morning of leap day. Better leap that day because you're going to have severe weather on the coast. Then by noon, it kind of dissipates a little bit. There's convection, the nighttime, morning of March 1st, the noon, convection. Give me more of this map. Back up. Noon, morning. Morning of March 1st, noon, convection. Nighttime, morning of the 2nd, noon, convection. Nighttime, morning of the 3rd. So it goes from the beginning of March 1st all the way till it finally dissipates the nighttime of March 2nd. We'll see. All right. And that's, 4 days out, 5 days out. Anything after this is probably going to be changing. Everything is probably going to be changing. Even tomorrow's forecast. All right, look at this low as it drives up in there around March 3rd. Okay, I kind of want to just get to the events. This event right here around the convection of March 4th, watch out for that. That's the, late afternoon going into nighttime when the clouds have reached their highest. It even blossoms at nighttime going nocturnal down here possibly. This big splattering right there concerns me in the morning of March 5th. Now, if this were something happening in the afternoon, we could be on top of it. People, sirens, storm chasers way ahead of it, warning people. But this is in the morning of the 5th. So let's pray that changes. Going into the noon time, convection, nighttime, morning of the 6th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 7th, noon, convection. Look at that, nighttime. Wow. So around the 7th, that's way out there. So boom, I could see, I know how God loves the number 7, so I could see something like this possibly happening around that time frame. 987 right there, low. 986. So we're talking hurricane strength winds. All right, severe weather. You see it going red right here across the Gulf of here at Florida or Tampa Bay region, also up here, Arkansas and stuff. So this will change, but this storm right here around the March 7th time frame could be nasty. All right, then going to the 8th. There's the end of convection, the 8th right there. Night, morning of the 9th, noon, convection, morning of the 10th. Nighttime, morning of the 10th there, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 11th, and the noon, convection. All right, so that's way out there. But the next little round, we'll have to worry about this moving in, colliding with this here. That dissipates, turns into this big storm here. You guys on the East Coast, get ready for that. Sorry, let me shift the screen down. And then this event right here, March 2nd, 1st and 2nd for the West Coast. Other than that, the rest of this is going to change. So if something like that were to happen there in the morning hours, I'll try to, we'll keep watching this to stay abreast of something like that coming down the pike. All right. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get over to this. What happened here? Oh, come on. Hurry up with your ad. Okay. All right. I had it frozen right about there. There it is. Okay. If you guys have been paying attention, you come over to Mr. MBB here. All right. This is an image somebody sent in to him. All right. And talking about the moon here illuminating the cloud, making it look like two moons. And they're talking about the stream of light and how the light's playing tricks and stuff. Did they not see the giant face looking down? Here's the eye, the ridge of the nose. Here, let's start toning this down because my computer gets too bright and blinds it. Ooh, now we're capturing it. All right, tilt your head to the left 45 degrees. You can see this face right here. This is another one of these faces in the spiritual realm in the clouds. That's my face right there. And what's interesting is how the moon is using the light. It actually, when I'm reading the readings at night, I have a little desk lamp that shines on this part of my head and down onto the paper that I'm reading. This is me when I'm reading to you guys. Pretty awesome stuff. Captured by somebody else, sent to Mr. MBB because they saw two moons or whatever. But when you pull back and look, you can see the face quite clearly. And the people, even in the video, it seemed they cut out the audio of them saying a perfect face, but they said, it looks like a perfect face in the sky. And they kind of cut out that part because there is. And the dude woke up his whole family and had them come outside. And this video, go over to Mr. MBB. I'm sure you probably are. Most of you guys have already seen this. All right. And his explanation, and the moon's shining, and then it's another reflection in the clouds. All right. Which it is. But it's drawing a face. It's painting a face. This is not an accident. This is the spiritual world. That's my face. I recognize my nose and my forehead and my hairline. And all right. Anyway, so interesting. Our latest spiritual realm captured is me looking down, reading to you guys with my book light shining on my forehead and illuminating half of my face. God's using the lighting of the moon in the clouds to actually do the lighting from my book lamp. Crazy, crazy stuff, you guys. When I saw this, I was just blown away. I'm like, oh. All right, let me get more of the face in here a little bit more so you guys can. Yeah, we're not getting the whole thing. I'm trying to get the light effect on my forehead. See how the light's reflecting off my shiny chrome dome? But there's more of the face and forehead when you tint it out. That's a giant face. That's my face. Looking down, I know what it is. It's me reading when I'm reading to you guys with the book lamp shining on my face. Crazy. All right, so guess what? Image we're going to use for reading tonight. Our brand new image for reading to. Pretty cool, huh? Answered prayer, really, because I was fighting for an image to read to, right? Kind of used up the latest new ones and stuff, and lo and behold, presto, there I am, doing the reading with the book light shining on my forehead and down my nose. Amazing stuff. All right, so we got a big reading to do. I was also going to do my testimonial. I do need to kind of step away for a second and say a special prayer. Meantime, you guys in the chat, let me know. Would you like to hear the testimonial? It might take another half hour. I'll tell you my history and my experience, strength, and hope. And then we can do the reading. Or we could do the reading first. And then the people that want to bolt can bolt. And I'll do my testimonial. I think maybe that's what. But you guys kind of do a quick decision. I will be back in about 30 seconds. Maybe a minute here. Think about what you guys want to do first here. And then just put it in the chat. I'll be right back. I'm back, you guys. All right, so pretty interesting imagery captured right there. Let me just take a little peek here. What you guys saying? Oh my goodness, I'm missing all these great comments. Reading first, please, then the testimonial. I agree. I think that'll probably be the best. And that way, people that don't want to hear, they can tune out. So, let me get my book light going here real quick and start shining it on my forehead, down my nose here, just like this image that you're looking at right now is what I'm about to look like as I'm reading to you. So now you see what I look like while I'm reading to you. Pretty cool, huh? All right, we had some good stuff picked out. So, here we go. Let me get a sip here real quick. So, be still in the light of my presence while I communicate love to you. There is no force in the universe as powerful as my love. You are constantly aware of limitations, your own and others, but there is no limit to my love. It fills all of space, time, and eternity. Now you see through a glass darkly, but someday you will see me face to face. Then you will be able to experience fully how wide and long and high and deep is my love for you. If you were to experience that now, you would be overwhelmed to the point of feeling crushed. But you have an eternity ahead of you, absolutely guaranteed, during which you can enjoy my presence in unrestricted ecstasy. For now, the knowledge of my loving presence is sufficient to carry you through each day. What's the other one? Okay. So rest in my presence, allowing me to take charge of each day. Do not bolt into the day like a racehorse suddenly released. Instead, walk purposefully with me, with purpose, okay? Walk purposefully with me, letting me direct your course one step at a time. So hold your head up and walk with purpose. Let me direct your course one step at a time. Thank me for each blessing along the way. This brings joy to both you and me. A grateful heart protects you from negative thinking. Thankfulness enables you to see the abundance I shower upon you daily. Your prayers and petitions are winged into heaven's throne room, where they are permeated with my thanksgiving. In everything, give thanks, for this is my will for you. A lot of my praying in private before I pray for something, I thank you for your sacrifice, for the blessing of the protection on the roads. Thank you for your sacrifice for the food that we're eating. Always just start a prayer. Thank you. Your sacrifice enabled me to, eat dinner. I got a roof over my head. I got a bed, all the electricity, all those little things. It's always good to just say thank you for the sacrifice, because anything you thank him for afterwards is a result of that sacrifice. Pretty simple stuff. Now I lost my place. So a grateful heart protects you from negative thinking. Thankfulness enables you to see the abundance I shower upon you daily. Your prayers and petitions are winged into heaven's throne room when they are permeated with my thanksgiving. So in everything, give thanks, for this is my will for you. I am leading you step by step through your life. Hold my hand in trusting dependence, letting me guide you through each day. Your future looks uncertain and feels flimsy, even precarious. That's how it should be. Secret things belong to the Lord, and future things are secret things. When you try to figure out the future, you are grasping at things that are mine. This, like all forms of worry, is an act of rebellion, doubting my promise to take care of you. So your forms of worry are an act of rebellion because it's doubting my promise that I would take care of you. So, whenever you find yourself worrying about the future, repent and return to me. I will show you the next step forward, and the one after that, and the one after that. So relax and enjoy the journey in my presence, trusting me to open up the way before you as you go. What's the next one? Was it that one? Oh, yeah. Okay, so keep your eyes on me. As waves of adversity are washing over you and you feel tempted to give up. As your circumstances consume more and more of your attention, you are losing sight of me. Yet I am always with you, holding you by your right hand. I am fully aware of your situation, and I will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able to bear. Your gravest danger is worrying about tomorrow. If you try to carry tomorrow's burdens today, you will stagger under the load and eventually fall flat. You must discipline yourself to live within the boundaries of today. It is in the present moment that I walk close to you, helping you carry your burdens. Keep your focus on my presence in the present. Did you hear that? Keep your focus on my presence in the present. Now that you're there, stop judging and evaluating yourself. This is not your role. Above all, stop comparing yourself with other people. This produces feelings of pride or inferiority, sometimes a mixture of both. I lead each of my children along a path that is uniquely tailor-made for him or her. Comparing is not only wrong, it is also meaningless. So don't look for affirmation in the wrong places. Your own evaluations or those of other people as well. The only source of real affirmation is my unconditional love. Many believers perceive me as an unpleasable judge, angrily searching out their faults and failures. But nothing could be farther from the truth. I died for your sins so that I might clothe you in my garments of salvation. This is how I see you, radiant in the robe of my righteousness. When I discipline you, it is never in anger or disgust. It is to prepare you for face-to-face fellowship with me throughout all eternity. So, immerse yourself in my loving presence. Be receptive to my affirmation, which flows continually from the throne of grace. Okay. Oh, all right. So here we go again. You are on the right path. Listen more to me and less to your doubts. I am leading you along the way I designed just for you. Therefore, it is a lonely way, humanly speaking. But I go before you as well as alongside you, so you are never alone. Do not expect anyone to understand fully my ways with you any more than you can comprehend my dealings with anybody else. I am revealing to you the path of life day by day and moment by moment. Okay, now on these ones here. How do we do that one now? Oh, yes. Okay, so while you're looking at this image, my face is shining upon you, beloved. I repeat, my face is shining upon you, beloved. Take time to linger in my joyous light and seek to know me as I truly am. I am always near you, closer than the air you're breathing. Awareness of my loving presence is a rich blessing. However, the most important thing is to trust that I am with you regardless of what you are experiencing. We're going to pick up here. Okay, so I am present throughout the entire universe. I am also transcendent, existing above and independent from the universe. I am the king of the eternal, immortal, invisible, and the only God. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Therefore, don't expect to fully understand me or my ways. When things don't go as you think they should, be willing to bow before my infinite wisdom and knowledge. My judgments are unsearchable, and my paths are beyond tracing out, but they are good. Remember the example of Job. When his family experienced multiple disasters, he fell to the ground in worship. I transcended all your troubles. So, when you bump into massive difficulties on your life path, I want you to consider it pure joy. As you bounce off these impossibilities, my everlasting arms are wide open, ready to catch you, calm you, and help you do what does not seem possible. You can be joyful in the midst of perplexing problems because I am your God and Savior. And I have already accomplished the greatest miracle in your life, saving you from your sins. If you keep looking to me, your resurrected Lord and King, your pessimism will eventually give way to courage. I repeat, if you keep looking to me, your resurrected Lord and King, your pessimism will eventually give way to courage. Though you are an earthbound creature, your soul shares in my eternal victory. I have infinite power, so impossibilities are my speciality. I delight in them because they display my glory so vividly. They also help you live in the way I intended, in joyful, trusting dependence on me. So, the next time you face an impossible situation, turn to me immediately with a hopeful heart. Acknowledge your total inadequacy and cling to me, relying on my infinite sufficiency, because all things are possible with me. So, no matter how you're feeling, remember, you are not on trial. I'm going to repeat this loud and clear. No matter how you are feeling, remember that you are not on trial. There is no condemnation for those who belong to me, those who know me as Savior. You have already been judged not guilty in the courts of heaven. I repeat, you have already been judged not guilty in the courts of heaven. I came to earth to set you free from bondage to sin. I long to see you living joyfully in that freedom. Learn to enjoy your guilt-free position in my kingdom, refusing to be weighed down or shackled. The world is in a fallen condition where sin and evil abound, but I have overcome this world. So, the best response to the grace I lavish on you is thankfulness and gratitude that fuels a desire to live according to my will. The closer you live to me, the better you can discern my will. Also, the more you can experience my peace and joy. Knowing me intimately helps you trust me enough to receive peace from me, even in the midst of trouble. Overflowing with thankfulness has the delightful side effect of increasing your joy. I repeat, overflowing with thankfulness has the delightful side effect of increasing your joy. So live freely and joyously in my presence. Okay, think that's the last one? Yeah, just closing with this one now, okay? Thanks for hanging in there, you guys. So, I will restore you to the joy of my salvation. When you confess your sins to me with a humble heart, I gladly forgive you. But there is more. I also restore you. The salvation of your soul is the source of inexpressible and glorious joy. I want you to experience once again the rich, deep pleasure of a close relationship with me. I desire to be your friend, your brother, your first love. Many people and things compete for your attention, so keeping me first in your heart requires diligence. You have developed ways of seeking me that are familiar and easy for you, but the danger of relying too much on routine is that it can become a tedious duty. When you realize this has happened, you need to stop and try something new. Remember who I am. King of Kings, Lord of Lords, creator, sustainer of this vast, awesome universe. Take extra time to worship and adore me before bringing me other prayers and petitions. This will awaken your heart to my glory and to the joy of my presence. Hopefully, you guys got that. It's really tough stuff, but simple at the same time. So, okie dokie, that was the reading for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed, and that's exactly what I look like. I had the light shining on that same side of my face right there, and I'm looking down at my notes right here reading to you guys. So, All right, so that's it for that. Now for my friends and close family here, I'm gonna do my little testimony of my experience, strength, and hope here. And oh Lord, how do I do this? Help me with this. Let's pull up a different image here too. Let's get my other channel going here. Pull up the different image. Okay, so I was born in 1970. Yes, I'm a Generation Xer. Actually, I was born in March of 1970. And if any of you know or can think about that, 9 months before was the summer of 69. The summer of love. Yes, the summer of love. I was conceived in the city of angels during the summer of love and was born March 24th, 3 days after spring, 1970. 70's all over the Bible, in the city of angels. Okay? Alrighty, so get this light out of my face. Alright, cool. You guys are digging me? Alright, cool. So, here we go. You're going to get to know me. So, let's go. So, I was born March 24th in Los Angeles, 1970. And there were some complications. There was a long labor process, and there was a little emergency at the end there, and I had an emergency C-section. All right, so... But then once I was born, well, my father took off before I was born, and my mother wasn't married at the time. So that made me a bastard. Yeah, kind of born into it. So all right, something weird happened to me when I was a kid, all right? Now, you guys aren't going to believe this, but I remember being born. I remember looking over the operating table, coming down on it, and sensing the desperation in the air. There were doctors working frantically, and I could sense desperation in the air. And the next thing, I come slamming down into this operating room, and I get whacked right on my butt. And I've never been spanked in my life. My parents did not believe in that. I've never been spanked. But my strongest memory ever since I was a kid was of being spanked and thinking in English, what was that for? I haven't done anything wrong yet. I thought that thought in English when I was born, and for the first 2 years of my life, I struggled to speak because I wanted to ask, why did you spank me? It's still stronger than any memory I've ever had in my life. It's like a permanent tattoo on the brain. But I remember being born in this circumstance of desperation, being smacked on the butt, and my first thought in English was, what was that for? I haven't done anything wrong yet. And I knew that getting smacked on the butt was punishment for doing something wrong. So where did that knowledge come from? So the first couple of years of my life, I struggled to, you're first trying to learn to speak, right? So my first words weren't mama. It was, why did you spank me? A whole sentence in English. My mom turned to me and looked at me like, what did you... Your first words were a whole sentence, and you asked me, why did you spank me? She goes, I never spanked you. I go, well, yeah, I remember. I remember like clear as a bell. I've been fighting these whole 2 years to speak just to ask this question. And she goes, I never spanked you. Well, they spank a baby at the hospital to get him to breathe. That's what it was. But I thought everybody kind of had this happen to them, right? I guess not everybody remembers being born. But to me, it's not that odd, all right? I had this go my whole life. So as I get after I'm born, my dad leaves. My mom's a single mother. We move up to South Lake Tahoe, California, where I was basically born and raised. All right. I spent my whole life up there. The only part I didn't was the, few hours in the hospital down in LA, but within a few hours I was already in Tahoe living there. And I went through school there in Tahoe. I skied and skateboarded and I actually surfed, and I wanted to surf the mountain. So I bought a big skateboard deck, took the trucks and wheels off of it, cut a backpack straps off the backpack, sacrificed that, and made my own snowboard. And I was doing that for a couple of years before we did research and development back in 1982. So I'm an old snowboarder guy too. I grew up in Tahoe, went to middle school, high school, and stuff there. And so let's get into my experience, strength, and hope. When I was very young, my mom had a job at the casinos in Tahoe and she worked nighttime, right? So she would leave me home alone to take, fend for myself. And I'm an only child. So I kind of was a little mischievous and started searching the house and stumbled across the liquor cabinet. And as a kid, all these shiny little bottles that are all pretty and glistening, and wondering, oh, what's in there? I see everybody else drinking it. I'm gonna find out what's going on here. So at a young age, I started experimenting with alcohol, and my first bottle, I pulled it out, looked at it, it said vodka on it, and I thought, oh, I've heard of this stuff. I know what this stuff is, and it looks like water. So being a kid, I cracked it open and started chugging it like it was water. But it was fire instead. And I thought, oh my God, how can you drink this stuff? It burns your mouth. It tastes like fire. It's like putting a hand grenade in your mouth. How could people drink this stuff? Then it occurred to me, I get it. So as I went through the different flavors of alcohol, I was hitting the brandy one night and I see a recipe on the bottle, on the back of the bottle of brandy. It's brandy and hot chocolate. And I'm thinking, wow, what kid doesn't love hot chocolate? Here we go. So I mixed some brandy with some hot chocolate, and every night I would have my little hot chocolate with brandy in it as a kid, home alone. And that's when it occurred to me, oh, wait a second. You're not supposed to drink the vodka straight. You're supposed to mix it with something. So I started mixing my own drinks at a young age, and my mother was a cocktail waitress, and she met a new gentleman who became my new father, who was a bartender. Okay. So my mom's a cocktail waitress, my dad's a bartender, and I'm an alcoholic. All right. So I was an alcoholic at a very, very, very young age, drinking pretty much 5 nights a week. The 2 days off my parents would be home. That was when I couldn't. But I was an alcoholic from a very, very young age. And when I went through school back in the 70s, that's when marijuana and cocaine came out. And I took a different path than most kids did. I was the one that was shoulder tapping and getting booze for everybody. I had the connections for, the weed and the coke, and I knew everybody at the school. I hung out with every clique. There wasn't a clique that I didn't hang out with. I was in the chess club with the nerds. I was in the orchestra and played violins with all the orchestra people. Took physics and chemistry, so I was in the class with all the smart kids. I played football, so I hung out with the jocks. I listened to heavy metal, so I hung out with all the stoners and the metalheads. I could hang out in any group I wanted to because I did everything. I was a little part of every group. So eventually, my career became a drug dealer. And when everybody graduated high school, I graduated with flying colors, could have gone off to any university And I already had my career picked out. I was going to be drug dealer. And well, for many years I went through that lifestyle and went through a lot of friends, hurt a lot of people, and ended up getting wrapped up in some even deeper drugs, such as meth. And that stuff is, it'll kill you. Anyways, we get deeper into, I'm dealing drugs, I'm a meth dealer. I got this house where people come over and hook up, right? And, well, I don't like to say it like this, but I was a dope man, and everybody came to my house. Well, one of these gals that I ran into became my girlfriend, and she was a meth. She did it as well, and we smoked a lot of it. And one day her breathing started to suffer, so we went to the hospital, and the doctor says, "Well, your lungs are coated with meth. You obviously smoke it. You need to stop smoking it, or you're gonna die." And she didn't really take it all that seriously because she didn't want to stop, even though it was affecting her breathing. All right. We'll go back to the regular side there. All right. So even though it's affecting her breathing, they got her on an oxygen tank. At this point, I'm thinking, you know what? I need to stop this lifestyle to get, to get her to stop and, possibly save this before, so we can get married and still progress on with life, And in the meantime, I meet somebody else in the process, and my fiance keeps withering away. And at one point, she has an oxygen tank with the toes going in her nose, and she's lighting up the pipe. And I'm going, dude, you're going to blow us up in the car. What are you doing? Then something else happens. Her heart enlarges by doing this stuff. It enlarges your heart. And she starts having heart issues, and they get her on this machine that pumps medicine directly into her heart. So she got a machine in one hand, pumping medicine directly into her heart, and an oxygen tank in the other. One day she gets into her car, slams the door hooks one of the hoses and pulls the catheter out of her heart. But she survived it. We patched up the hole or whatever. By this time, I'm not with her. She's, kind of on doing her thing. She won't stop. I'm trying to stop and stay away, but I'm still keeping tabs on her. And then finally, she goes back into the hospital to have the catheter reinserted in through her breastbone into her heart. And during the procedure, they missed. Going through your breastbone with a needle is really hard, and they missed. They hit the wrong spot of her heart and killed her. And my fiance died as a result of meth. Right now, during this process, my life has been chaos. A lot of people have died around me. Lost a lot of friends. Family very disappointed and stuff like this. So this new gal I hook up with, she's not into that stuff. And I don't want her to be either. So I'm wrapping up business. I'm hiding my stuff. I'm getting rid of my clientele because I want to move on with life. Well, my new gal finds some and gets into it and gets hooked. So now the one that I wanted, that I was trying to keep away from this stuff, has now gotten hooked on it. Then we proceed to practice not having kids, right? She's on the pill. We're using contraception, everything to avoid having kids because I don't want to have kids. I have a different lifestyle that doesn't really allow for that kind of thing. All of a sudden, she gets pregnant. And I'm like, how can this be? We practiced all this. It's a miracle. She gets pregnant. So we have a son, and we had a CPS case. And we had to go through all this nightmare with CPS. They see kids, they would see dollar signs, right? But we managed to jump through every single hoop with CPS. And trying to avoid having a second kid, even with a IUD, 1 year, 1 month, 1 day later, we have a second kid. Impossible. 2 impossible kids. And by this time, Our little family's coming together. We're cleaning up our act and stuff. I'm still an alcoholic. So one night, I'm out. The whole family's asleep, and I go out to get some beer before 2 o'clock, before the shops close, to get, have something to wake up to in the morning. And I get a DUI. And that turns everything around. My wife gets upset. She kicks me out. I go to jail. While I'm in jail, some stuff goes down. And when I get out, I have nowhere to go. So I'm sleeping in my car now. My wife has kicked me out. I've been through the ringer. I got this DUI charge that I have to go to court for. And now I'm kind of stressing, right? In the meantime, before I even made it to court for the first DUI, I got caught a second time while I was sleeping drunk in my car. I got another DUI. Then I went before the judge, and he says, wait a second, I thought you only had one. There's another one before you even got to court? I said, yeah. So I got sentenced. All right. I got a pretty good sentence. The judge wasn't too happy with me. So I'm serving my time, and about halfway through my sentence, I get this option to get out early and possibly go to a rehabilitation center called the Salvation Army. Okay. They do more than just thrift stores. Okay. They have a drug rehabilitation complex that is probably the best in the world. It's the toughest in the world, that's for sure. So I go before the judge and I ask him, I said, hey, you know what? I'm kind of interested in doing the Salvation Army thing. And he goes, oh, really? Huh? Okay, well, go ahead. So I petition, I get out of jail, and I get sentenced to a 6-month tour in the Salvation Army. All right. Well, when I get there, their curriculum has religion in it. Now, I'm a person who has never prayed at this point. I have never even touched a Bible, let alone opened the Bible or really even investigated the story. I have had UFOs chasing me my whole life and have had to deal with that. So this was kind of out of the picture at the moment, right? But at the Salvation Army, they make you go to church twice a week. You got to get dressed up in a suit and nice shoes and walk down to the church. And I'm thinking, oh, great, they're going to try to force religion down my throat. And my counselor comes up and says, hey, you know what? We're not here to try to force it down your throat. Just sit there. You don't have to participate, but don't disrupt it either. Oh, okay. So my first time in church, I'm sitting there and they do a few readings, a few songs, talk about this, a few, a typical, well, not your typical, this is more for rehabilitation, but a good church service. And I was like, well, that wasn't so bad. I had envisioned that it was all fire and brimstone and you're going to hell and the preacher's pounding the podium. No, it wasn't like that at all. And I was like, oh, well, this, it wasn't what I was imagining. It was a little different. So it wasn't about until 4 weeks into the process that one day we went down to the church, and there were people at the end of the sermon. They did an altar call, and some of the gentlemen would go up there to the altar call, and the counselor says, "Hey, don't go up there to score points with us, trying to make yourself look good. You only go up to the altar if you mean it." And I'm like, what does that mean? So I went through a few more, sessions or whatever. And then one day they were playing the songs. There was one song I really liked. And I was like, oh, they're playing the song that I liked. And it happened to be when altar call came. And all these guys start filing down the main aisle. And I'm watching them go. And I felt a shove, almost like a linebacker hit me and shoved me out into the aisle, and I stumbled out into the aisle where the guys are walking up to the front. So now I'm kind of committed, and as I approach the front, there's people already kneeling, and there's not like an open spot to kneel. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll go around the side. Now, at this point, the guys that are faking it, they hang out on the side. The ones that are doing it for the counselors always go to the side. The ones that are really mean it go right up front. And I was thinking, well, it looks like I'm going to get funneled to the side. And something happened. And two of them just kind of separated, almost like the Red Sea. And there was a spot right up front for me. And as I tried to walk up to that spot, something hit me in the back of the legs again, like a linebacker, taking me out at the knees. And I fell down to my knees right in front of the altar. And the song's playing. And I feel this hand come up and grab my shoulder. And that's when everything turned white. I couldn't feel the floor, my knees touching the floor anymore. I couldn't feel my toes and my knees touching the floor. It's like the floor kind of disappeared or whatever. Everything turned white. I could barely hear the music in the background, but it was still kind of there faintly. And I'm struggling to like pull out of this fuzzy haze, whatever. And as I do, I'm thinking, my song, I'm missing my favorite song. So as I snap out of it, I come to, and when I go to stand up, there's nobody there at the altar anymore. I'm the only person up there. All the rest of the guys are way back in their pews already, back to singing the song. And I'm like, how long was I up there? I don't really remember everybody walking away. So I kind of just walk away, go back to my spot. And later on, I started feeling some side effects. Something happened there. I had some vision problems from being a skier. Skiing on a bright sunny day, I burned my retinas a little bit and I lost some of my color vision. And I noticed my color vision come back. And I'm like, whoa, somebody put acid in the punch bowl today or something? Then I was also suffering from cirrhosis of the liver. Okay, and I was having some bloody stools. And that cleared up immediately that day. In fact, when I was walking back from the church, I actually had some pep in my step and I beat everybody back to the facility that day. And I just felt, pretty good. I felt, new. I did. I felt kind of new or something. It wasn't until later that I hear whispers going around the complex. The guys are talking and I'm like, why is everybody acting weird towards me? Just because I went up to the altar, you guys were there too. And nobody will tell me what's going on. But I can hear whispers and I keep hearing the word levitation. And I'm like, what? And apparently the counselors told everybody to stay away from me because during that event I levitated in their church. And I don't remember that, but that's the whispers I heard. And I was like, okay, whatever. But I felt a newness in me, all right? All of a sudden, I was reading the Bible and I was having trouble with the thous and these and the whole grasping of the concept. I'd never written a Bible before. I didn't know what the layout meant. I didn't know any of it. But now, after this event, I was able to interpret the Bible a lot clearer. I'm like, whoa, how'd this happen? Well, I know how it happened because I gave myself wholeheartedly to Jesus. I thought, they got nothing to lose. It's the good guy. It's not like you're going to go accept Satan or, become a serial killer. It's actually accepting a good guy. So why not just give it a try? And I got results. And in this facility, let me tell you, this is a tough facility. This is where they send the hardcore criminals to rehabilitate, to get them back onto the street, okay? Now, I got to split a room with Bulldog, who's got pectoral muscles. He looks like a barreled chest. He looks like a bulldog. The dude's got tattoos up his neck, 4 teardrops off one eye. He's obviously head of a gang or something. The dude's a lunatic doing a life sentence or whatever. Got sent to the Salvation Army. Well, in there, we have to do spiritual homework. They ask you questions about yourself that you're supposed to answer, and answer them thoroughly, not just a yes or a no answer. Now we got some of the toughest people on the planet crying like a baby because they had to do some homework. Because they had to open up a book and read and answer a question and write down a sentence. These hard, tough criminals cry like a baby when you put a pencil in their hand and tell them to write down their feelings. Yeah, I love this stuff. I thrived in that area. I helped so many people with the homework, how they were asking these questions, what they were looking for. Don't answer the question half-ass. This is for you. How bad do you want sobriety? So when I did my homework, I did a full page on each question. Other guys would put yes, and it would say explain. Explain why you said yes. Because. So Bulldog's answer was yes, because. Meanwhile, I got a whole sheet of spiritual lessons that learned and how they apply. And I did 7,000 pages on my first tour in there. I did a 6-month tour and graduated. Okay. The graduation rate is 2% in that place. Only 2%, only 2 out of 100 people graduate this program. Everybody ends up failing. They fail a drug test and they go back. They're back on probation, back on parole. I kept doing all my drug tests were clean. I kept doing my program. I finished my homework above and beyond, ahead of time. I took it seriously. And at the end of the 6 months, when graduation night came up, there were 2 of us that were going to graduate. And the night before, they kind of let you free and go out. You know, you can go walk with the other guys to a meeting or whatever like that. So they give you some freedom. But I didn't go out and party. I just went out. I knew I was graduating the next day, but I didn't go risk it. I went out and just, went to the meeting, did my program, whatever. Well, the next day, right before graduation, the counselor pulled us both aside and said, just pee one more time for me. Uh-oh. Well, homeboy, my other graduate, went out and partied, and I didn't. I was the only one that graduated. He had to go back to jail and go back and do his whole 6-month tour all over again because at the very last day he slipped up. So it's a very tough program. Now, when I got out, I found something that I'd never had before. I had some sobriety. I never knew what sobriety was. From a very young age, I was always fucked up. Sorry I used that term, but I was. I didn't think straight. But now I had some sobriety and I liked it. I actually had some clarity. I could save up money and the old ball and chain was gone. Let me tell you, I used to drink 40 ounces of malt liquor a day, 400 fluid ounces of malt liquor every day for 20 years, more than 20. Okay. And it was such a bad addiction that my hands would shake. I would have withdrawals in the middle of the night while sleeping. So in order for me to fall asleep, I would have to have 2 40s on the nightstand. One for about 3 hours in when I would wake up with the shakes, having withdrawals. I would wake up and crack a 40 in the middle of the night with my hands shaking and suck that sucker down in bed until my hands and the tremors would go away and I would pass out again for another 3 hours, but then wake up again with the withdrawals and have to have another 40 ouncer. That's how bad my alcoholism was. One day I had a quota of 10 40 ounces a day. One day I had gotten all 10 of them and they were lined up on my counter and my buddy was sitting there. He goes, "Why are you panicking, Brian? You got 10 of them in front of you." And I said, That's for today. I'm already worried about tomorrow's. I could not rest. I had tremors, and my detoxes were so bad that I almost died. I did overdose one time. Some people called the ambulance because I was passed out, and I came to in the hospital with a BAC of 0.47. For those of you who know what a BAC is, I said 0.47. It's the highest BAC they'd ever seen at the hospital. They had me hooked up to life support. They were trying to pump my blood out, cleanse it, and pump new blood back in, and I didn't make it. Yeah, and they came up and unplugged the machine, and the doctor's standing there filling out my death certificate, and I kind of snorted and popped my eyes open and looked at the doctor. His jaw dropped. He dropped his clipboard, looked at me in shock, and said the words, "You're back? You're back? What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, back in the hospital. Looks like what happened." He goes, "Oh my God, I was just filling out your death certificate, dude. I don't believe that you're actually sitting here talking. You were dead. We didn't even resuscitate you." So, God snatched me from the jaws of hell. He delivered me, saved me. I went to the Salvation Army. I got sober. I went down to Sacramento, reunited with my family. I worked Johnny Rockets in Sacramento at the Arden Fair Mall, the second busiest Johnny Rockets in the world. We broke records at that place. 6,000 people a day. There was a line out the door when I walked in as manager, and a line out the door at night when we closed the doors. That place was full steam ahead the whole day. And if you aren't on top of it, you just get run over. So went reunited with my family, had a good job living down in Sacramento. I don't like the city. I'm a mountain boy. I'm a mountain man. So living down there was not conducive to me. I wanted to raise my children in Tahoe so they could ski and skate and snowboard and camp and fish and hike and kayak. There's so many things to do in Tahoe, okay? But we're stuck in Sacramento. Meanwhile, there's a falling out between me and the in-laws, and I get kicked out of Sacramento and have to come back to Tahoe. There, I relapsed, and I wanted my sobriety back. And I knew the only way I could get my sobriety back was to go back to the Salvation Army. I voluntarily went back for a 6-month tour to the Salvation Army, the hardest place in the world where Pitbull and all these guys dread. I went back for my second tour. This time I did 10,000 pages in my homework, not 7. I did 10,000 pages. I also did all the notes that I read to you. I helped so many counselors and so many people there on my second go around. I realized that my relapse was actually God getting me back to the Salvation Army because there were people there I needed to help. And when I got back into that church that first day, when I got back, I couldn't wait for the altar call. And when there was time for the altar call, I went right up to the front, right to that very same spot. And when I knelt down there for the altar call, that hand came back and grabbed my shoulder again. I knew it would. I knew it would. That's why I went back there looking for that hand to touch me again. And it did. And since then, I have accomplished a lot of spiritual battles. The whole time my wife was intoxicated, terrorizing our kids while I'm in this facility, right? So I come out sober. I'm ready to get my wife sober now. She's she's the one kind of got me in there, so I'm going to try to help her get sober as well. But that doesn't happen. And things go a little sour. So I just deal with it. And meantime, I have moved from Tahoe down to Nevada with my parents. My ailing father was dying. He had a vicious head wound that exposed his brain, and he was starting to get dementia. So I came back home, helped my mom take care of him while he, his last days, and also helping my mom, who's a widow now, without her husband now. So we're here, just me and my mom, and we kind of decided, hey, maybe we should get the wife and kids from Sacramento, bring them here. We can all be a family, my wife, my kids, and my mom, all living in this nice, beautiful house that we have here. And so, sure enough, that's the whole plan starts to come together. I've been working a long, long, hard trail, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get my family reunited and still be there to take care of my mother. So this whole plan starts to come together. And as my wife and kids pack up from Sacramento and start to move out this way to Nevada, September 10th of 2017 happens to me. What happened to me on that day, I really can't talk too much about it because I don't want to disturb you guys too much, because it was very disturbing. And I wanted to confide in the people I trust, my loved ones, like my mom and my wife. Because something happened to me, and it was very important that they know. So when I tried to confide to my wife, hey, the reason why my behaviors changed is because something happened to me, but she wouldn't give me the time of day. I couldn't get 5 minutes of my wife's time to look at this beautiful image and hear her husband explain what happened. For years, I struggled. My marriage crumbled because my wife insisted that I was crazy, sent me off to mental institution after mental institution. I've been through so many rehabs, institutions, jails, and I really didn't do anything wrong except try to quit drinking and find the Lord. And through that whole tribulation that I went through, now when my family reunites, this wild card comes in and disrupts that whole plan. I thought everything was coming together. The Lord's helping me. I see his work. I see his presence. He's bringing my family back together, but it was for a different purpose. And now I can't get my kids' attention. I can't get my wife's attention or my mother's attention. These are the 4 people that are closest to me. So I'm out there seeking therapy, going to therapists and stuff, and telling them, hey, this stuff's happening to me, and hee ha ha, oh, you need some meds, you're hallucinating, blah blah blah, until I start showing them in the sessions the actual pictures going along with the story. And now there's I've had a few therapists and counselors that I've helped, let's just say, see the light and the error of their ways. I've also helped a few judges and some cops along the way, too. Little did they know who they were dealing with, but later on, when they go investigating my channel, they go, oh, boy, did we have a close call. Yeah. So, we got this problem growing, and my wife comes back, my kids come back, and this activity just intensifies. And I'm trying to inform them about it and kind of keep it low key, but it blows up, and I'm whisked off to another mental institution. And I come back, and now the wife is like, I don't want you staying in the house. You can live out in the separate garage, which is kind of fine for me. That's where all these instances that you're seeing, all those pictures of Mary and stuff, took place out in that garage. And I'm thinking, hey, I'm kind of volatile for the family anyways. Maybe it's better if I have a little distance. So I'm living down in the garage, but still right next to my wife and kids, right there to help them with any problems, right? I'm just trying to keep everything copacetic. And then one day my wife comes to me with a divorce and says, I want a divorce. I'm like, why? I'm doing everything you wanted to do. I'm trying to conform. I'm trying to appease you, but you're missing out. All I need is 5 minutes. It'll all make sense if you just give me 5 minutes of your time, sweetie. Come on, you love me, right? You married me, right? Why don't you trust your husband? Why don't you trust your son with something so beautiful? It's so hard to see my family just totally resist me. And I have been through therapy. I've been through all this stuff. And you know what? Not a damn bit of it helps. This is what keeps me sane. This and you guys. While I was in the Salvation Army, there were a couple of Marines that came through. One of them actually saw combat. And by the look in his eye, it looked like he may have had a couple of kills because he wasn't too okay with himself. All right. Now, I'm trying to help these Marines with their homework in the Salvation Army. Combat veterans crying, this is too hard. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I go, what? Weren't you in combat? I could tell by his skin. He's all messed up. He's got scars all over him. I'm like, dude, weren't you in combat? He says, I'll tell you what. Facing my demons and doing this spiritual work is harder than combat. He says in combat, it's easy that somebody gives you an order and you follow that order and you just do it. Here, I'm tackling my own demons. I have to fight my own demons. It's easy to fight an enemy. How do you fight yourself? And this battle-hardened Marine confessed that the Salvation Army was harder than combat. And it is. When you get to step 4 and you have to do your personal inventory, that's something that every person, whether you're alcoholic, drug addict or not, that is something that should have been taught in school. They should have done the 12 steps in school because it's a code to live by as well. An unmissed set of rules that works for everybody. I mean, it's an awesome way to live. And it should have been taught in schools. And we wouldn't have had all the alcoholism and stuff. But, so I've been through drugs, alcohol, death, denial, excruciating pain. When all this stuff started happening to me, I got thrown off a ladder. Not fell off. I got thrown off a ladder. Head first into the pavement. I was a goner. An invisible hand turned my head and kept my head from making the initial impact. And I made initial impact with my shoulder. And I shattered my shoulder into, I don't know, multiple pieces. Shattered my arm in 4 breaks down the humerus in a zigzag lightning pattern. Doctor goes, well, I've never even seen this on dead people, dude. What did you do? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So it was very scary, very painful. And ever since, thankfully, the pain has never gone away. I have that pain in my shoulder all the time, even in my sleep. And I'm so thankful for eternal pain. My right shoulder, same shoulder. So I have overcome a lot, and I'm still trying with my family, and we're running out of time. You guys see the calendars running out, right? And I'm waiting for them to kind of come around because it's such a beautiful blessing here in this house that going unrecognized and unappreciated. I think my mom would look at me more as a successful person instead of a dirtbag. If she knew my discoveries and what I've done, she'd be proud of me instead of looking at me like I'm a dirtbag. My wife probably would have fallen in love with me all over again. We could have gotten married again if she'd have just given me 5 minutes of her time. But instead, she divorced me. Whoa. Yeah, I heard those thoughts out there, you guys. But I still forgive her. I still love her. She knows not what she does. Okay? I still love my wife and my family and everything, even though they think I'm crazy. They don't believe me. They were right there for the ride with me. They were on the same roller coaster ride and they didn't even see it. They think it's just me being crazy. Oh, you're seeing faces in the clouds. Yeah, real faces in the clouds, not pareidolia. All right? Pareidolia does not scream and spit lightning at you. This is what was foretold in the Bible. When I have angels bound before me and I see my face in the clouds, recognize my own face, it gets a little, how would you feel? I mean, I was just a normal guy going about my life. I had some issues, but I tackled them. I found Jesus. I put my faith and my trust in him. He delivered me from alcohol. I had a relapse, but the relapse was to get me back there, to appreciate my sobriety again, and to help people this time along the way. So I've really learned a lot through experience. AA is a program that works miracles. If you guys are struggling with addiction or abuse, whatever, give it a try. Get a sponsor. Open up to somebody and do your steps. The fourth step everybody's afraid of so much, that was my favorite one. It was a if you did it correctly. I still go to meetings and I see people that have been there 20 years and they still haven't done the fourth step. The fourth step is so good that you just basically you find out who you are, all your shortcomings, and all your positive attributes. It's not just a list of how bad you are. People have good attributes as well. All right. And then when you confess those to your sponsor, when you confess to another man all the nasty stuff that you've done and you think that you're the only one, and your sponsor goes, oh, yeah, I was in the same place. I've been there, done that too. All of a sudden, you're like, wait, somebody can relate to me? I didn't think my alcoholism was gonna be curable. 10, 40 ounces a day for 20 years. I got DTs to where I'm having palpitations and almost dying. You know, I didn't think my alcoholism was fixable. But with faith in the Lord, he fixed it. All right. So I've been through a lot. And now I've got two teenage boys, 17, 18. One's a man now. Actually, they're both men. My 17-year-old is more mature than a 40-year-old. And I know a 40-year-old that acts like a 17-year-old. Anyway, so I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. I've had people die along the way. The most important thing is learning from it all. It's the knowledge. Now, are you going to have the wisdom to use it and apply it? And after going through that spiritual battle and not being believed, not being heard, not being accepted, I got this curse now. All right. And at first it was a blessing and everything was awesome. You know, I thought, whoa, this really happening? What? You gotta be kidding me. I can't be king of the world. Come on. But then as it progressed, it comes with other things, which is hard. And now I can relate exactly to, now you guys can relate exactly to how Jesus felt when He is who he says he is, and nobody will believe him. They won't even give him 5 minutes of their time, except there's the blind that he helps, the deaf that he helps, the broken that he helps. He's not here to help people that are fixed. He's here to fix the broken ones. And I was broken, and I guess I fit the mold just right. And my willingness to just do it, and by faith in that church that day, nobody forced me to do it. I thought, you know what? Why not just give it a try? It got nothing to lose and everything to gain. It's like somebody's going to give you 1,000 free lotto tickets, and you stand 1,000 chances of winning the lotto, and you're like, nah, not interested. Actually, you're guaranteed to win the lotto. Let me rephrase that. They're going to buy you one ticket that is guaranteed to get you the lotto, and you will live stress-free for the rest of your life, and you're like, nah, no thank you. So much sacrifice and so much pain, and as well as spiritual and emotional pain too. I mean, how would you feel when you saw an angel and you got an image of it on your phone, and you're like, oh my God, my friends are going to be so stoked, dude. Look, a real angel. And they go, I don't see it, and you're crazy. Oh, no. Just take a second look. Give it a few minutes. Look carefully. Tilt your head to the right, not to the left. See, you don't even know your right from left. No wonder why you didn't see it. Stupid, simple stuff. Knowing right from the left has caused me years of agony because somebody tilted their head the wrong way or just refused to look. Didn't want it. Imagine having God living in your house. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? Well, you guys got even better because you're closer to me than my own family is. Pretty odd how that works, huh? But it's been a spiritual battle this whole time, and I realized that it's the not being believed, it's the not being respected, it's the not being recognized that makes me righteous. Because I'm telling the truth, and it's the real deal. It's the real thing. And when I'm not believed, well, that's okay, because that makes me righteous in my cause. So the non-belief empowers me even more. I can make good out of bad. I was alive, I was killed, and now I'm alive again. Who does that shit? There's only one person. And this is a beautiful image. This is me right here. Almost kind of look like I'm sleeping on my pillow, but you can see the light shining this way on the face. And it's actually the angle my book light hits my face when I'm reading to you guys. That's what's so cool. When I saw this, I'm like, oh my God, it's illuminating that side of my face. And it's me reading, looking down at my notes, reading to you guys. All right, so I think that was it. Did we bare the whole soul there? Did we cover it all? Yeah, I think so. So now I'm kind of disabled, semi-retired, still taking care of my family. I got an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old. Both have graduated and moved on. And, not moved on. They're still living with me, but they're moving forward with their life. So, single father or two, fighting for my family. Sound familiar? Fighting for my family. Yeah. I sure love you guys. I hope you enjoy my presence because the moment you give it a chance, something miraculous happens. And it's real. I am a real person. I'm a person with feelings and emotions. Where do you think your feelings and emotions came from? I love you guys. I miss you guys. Let's look through the chat real quick. I want to say thanks to the Watchman, Diana, um, Tom Price. Oh, my eyes are so bad right now. Leslie, TJ, Surfer Girl. Oh, my little surfer girl. All right. We got Leslie. Kim was there. She got oh, okay. She got deleted there. Jimmy Satterfield. Yes, sir. I think you're enjoying these readings. Eric was here. All right. You got, oh, Tiger Eye. Thank you for coming. Where was Kung Fu Grasshopper? Was he here? I saw him earlier. Hopkinson. Tiger Eye. Oh, the good families here. And also thanks to those of you who watch this on replay. I do this so late at night. I feel sorry for my audience. I gotta wait until everybody else has done their show, and then when I try to do mine, I got other things that just keep shoving it back even later. So it's all part of God's plan. I just go when He tells me to go, and keep going until He says it's done. So I think that's it. Hopefully that brings you guys some hope, and I still continue to help other people with their addictions and their rehabilitation. It's been interesting, and seeing how people react to such good news. It's like the best news in the world, and everybody hates it. It's what are you crazy? But I've actually been able to help a lot of people through this process. So that's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back, and you guys can finally tell. I love you all.